Hey, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shalina, and I'm here to share with you my favorite books of 2025. I have 11 books to talk about today, and I'm going to start with the 7 books I gave 4.5 stars this year. These books are kind of in an order of like enjoyment for me, but really they're all favorites of the year, so it kind of doesn't matter up until the very last book, which is my favorite book of the year. So, yeah, let's get started. My first 4.5-star book is Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This book is young adult and follows Jam, who lives in the city of Lucille where there are no monsters, except Pet, who has come out of one of Jam's mother's paintings, is there because there is a monster in Lucille that needs to be hunted down. And Jam has to deal with the fact that nobody believes her when she says that there's a monster that needs to be hunted. Um, this story is really imaginative and it deals with some very tough subjects, but the way it's handled is just impeccable. I really enjoyed the story. I definitely need to be reading more Akwaeke Emezi because this, like I said, it's very imaginative. It's so different from anything I could have expected, and I really enjoyed it. My next 4.5-star book is Starling House by Alix Harrow. This book follows Opal as she deals with trying to get her and her brother Jasper out of Eden, Kentucky, because they are orphans and they basically have nothing. And then enter Starling House, which is a weird mansion in town that has a caretaker and heir named Arthur. And Opal gets this opportunity for a job there, and it leads to some secrets being uncovered and some monsters being revealed, and a lot of kind of crazy things happen, especially towards the end. But this one was really fun. Like I said, it's contemporary fantasy, and I love Alix Harrow's writing, and I have read a few of Alix's books before and really enjoyed them, and so I was really happy to enjoy this one as well. The next book I gave 4.5 stars to is Model Home by Rivers Solomon. This is a horror novel about a house where 3 siblings left when they, graduated. They left home. Excuse me. And they have to return because their parents have died and they need to, fix up the house, get everything out of it and all that kind of stuff. But they are reminded of all of the weird and uncanny things that happened when they were living in the house. And they are the only Black family in this neighborhood, and there was just a lot of weird stuff going on, and the characters have to kind of deal with that. And it's truly a horrific story, but it was so good. It was so well written, and I really felt for the characters because there's a lot going on here, not just the grief of losing the parents, but also the grief of understanding what really happened in the past and those kinds of things. And it really hit home for me, really close to home, and I really appreciated the story. And I this is my second River Solomon book, and the first one I read I think was Sorrow Land, and I didn't quite connect with that one as much as I did this one. I really loved this one. Next, we have Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. This one is a sci-fi slash fantasy novel that follows an AI computer that's part of a spaceship, the spaceship Demeter. And this is a really wacky story. The book starts out with Dracula killing everyone on board and the ship becoming known as a ghost ship. And then lots of other fantasy elements ensue, but it's all in space. So like I said, it's very wacky, but I loved just everything that went on, all of the characters. You really get to come to care for the AI systems that are running the ship, and it's very strange, but it's wonderful. My next 4.5-star read is Bookshops and Bonedust by Travis Baldree. This is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, which I loved in 2024, and I love this one just as much. This follows Viv as she is wounded prior to her opening her coffee shop, and she is in a town where there is this library, and they're hunting for a necromancer, and all these things are happening. But it's still very cozy. It's still very warm. I love being in this world. I love the characters. and it's just such a fun time. My next read was Hamnet. This is by Maggie O'Farrell, and this is a historical novel that follows William Shakespeare as he is a young man and how he met his wife and then their family, and then what his family does while he's off in London making plays. It's really more about the family than it is about him, and I don't believe that he's actually named in the novel, but it's very good, very like luscious prose and beautiful scenery and just all these things. And then like it I love the way it ends too. Like it's just a very interesting story. Maggie O'Farrell became one of my favorite writers this year because of this book and because of the next book that I'm going to talk about, which is The Marriage Portrait, also by Maggie O'Farrell. This is my last 4.5-star read on my list. But I was recommended this book by Eliza at Plenty Bookshop, and she said it was her favorite book, and so I gave it a try when I was able to get it on audio. And this follows a young girl who is married off, and the beginning of the novel, she talks about how her husband is trying to kill her, and she has to sit for this marriage portrait, and then it just goes from there. It goes kind of back and forth between timelines. We have kind of the past timeline of how she wound up to be here in this position, and then the present timeline of her trying not to die. And it's just so good. It's rich, luxurious prose, like thoroughly well researched. Like you felt every bit of the Renaissance era that it's set in. It's so good, and I really thank Eliza for recommending it to me. On to my 5-star reads. The first one I have on this list is Lo-Fi by Liz Riggs. Now, this book will not be for everybody, but I absolutely loved it. It is a look into the music scene in the 2010s in Nashville, and deals with the big storm that happened in 2010, the flood that happened in Nashville, along with what this girl Allison is going through, just basically hitting rock bottom and dealing with all of the kind of messiness of her life and coming out of that, and figuring out like who and what she wants to be. And I really loved it. There's a lot of music in this book, like mentions of song lyrics and lists of songs and all kinds of things, and it's so good. Like I said, not for everybody, but like it made me feel and reminded me of what it was like to be in your early 20s and have that messy life and trying to figure out who you are. The next book on my 5-star list is Dear Medusa by Olivia A. Cole. This is a young adult novel in verse that follows a girl who is dealing with the aftermath of sexual abuse and how she reclaims her voice and basically her life by a society that seems to try to punish her for just surviving. This was beautiful. It was heart-wrenching. It was so well done. It's a topic that's really close to my heart, and I thought it was just done so spectacularly well. And I loved the ending. I loved how it was written. I loved everything about this. On to the only romance that made my favorites list this year, we have The Nightmare Before Kissmas by Sara Raasch. This follows the Prince of Christmas and the Prince of Halloween as they are rival holidays, but they have to kind of like fake court each other, and then they actually fall in love. It was super sweet, super steamy, and I just had a hell of a time with it. Now for the final book on my 5-star list and my favorite book of the year. It is A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. This is a cozy horror novel that is set in North Carolina. A woman returns to her grandmother's house where her mother lives and is trying to figure out what is going on because her mother, who had changed the house to suit her own, like, design tastes back in the day when Sam, the girl, was growing up, has now reverted the house back to the way her grandmother had it. And Sam is trying to figure out if her mom is possessed, if the house is being haunted, like what is going on. This book, I'm not kidding when I say it's a cozy horror, but it's also kind of funny. And I loved Sam's like snarky Southern wit. And I absolutely adored this book. It was so good. It was creepy. There was some definitely like scary, creepy things happening toward the end, that were kind of like it, like gave you the ick, but like it was so good. And there's also a pet vulture named Hermes, which I just was like the icing on top. And that's it for my list for my favorite books of 2025. Thank you for watching. If you want to let me know you were here, you can leave a bird emoji in the comments or let me know what your favorite books of the year were. And I will see y'all again soon. Thanks.